Hey folks, Joe Clark with Looking Back, a glimpse into Kentucky's forgotten history here with you today. Doing something a little different. We are at the Master Cemetery, which sits right on the Rowan and Carter County lines here in Kentucky. And got a story about an individual that's buried here that I want to share with you today. So let's make our way back to his grave, if you will. This also happens to be my family cemetery. My dad and my grandparents and several others are buried here. But that's not why I'm here today. I want to tell you about the grave of somebody that played an important, or not, maybe not important, but played a role in Rowan County history. And it's a little known fact for a lot of people probably. And I'm taking the long way around because I didn't want to open up that big gate right there. And but anyway, you'll see just pointing this out as we walk through this grave right here. That's my father right there. And then my grandmother is over in that section. And but again, that's not why I'm here. Tell you a little bit about the cemetery as we're walking. We believe that it was started somewhere around 1800. There's no exact year that we know. We do know that there are approximately 51 unmarked graves in the cemetery that we have no clue where they are. Other than that, it's a beautiful cemetery, as you can see. My family and my extended family, we try our best to take care of it as best we can. And right here is just pointing this out, is my great-grandparents, or excuse me, my great-great-grandparents. So anyway, what I want to talk to you about today, and I'm sorry that I'm out of breath, a fat boy's out of shape. But right here is the person I want to talk to you about today. The stone says O.B. Logan, September 1st, 1848 to July 29th, 1909. Now, the O.B. is an abbreviation for O'Banion. And so what is important about O'Banion Logan? Well, some of you are probably familiar with an event that took place here in Rowan County between the years 1884 and 1887 called the Martin-Tolliver Feud, aka the Rowan County War. One of the lesser known murders that took place during that war. Some argue that it was connected to the war, others say it wasn't. But we're going to go, since the victim is listed on the memorial in town, we're going to go ahead and say that it was. But anyway, the story goes that on the night of November the 25th, 1884, a band of regulators went to the home of John Gibson Hughes at Pine Grove, which is a little community not far from here in the Rock Fork area of Rowan County. The purpose of their going there was to chastise him for some unknown offense. Now, when it comes to Mr. John Gibson Hughes, reports vary. And I apologize for the shaky camera. I've got to get a little comfortable here. Some newspapers said that Mr. Hughes was regarded as a quiet and inoffensive citizen. Fred Brown Jr., the late Fred Brown Jr., who was my cousin, and the author of the book, Days of Anger, Days of Tears, about the Rowan County War, described that Mr. Hughes was living, supposedly living anyway, in an incestuous relationship with his two sisters with whom he lived. And allegedly, he had a child by each of those sisters, and those kids were burned to death. Now, take either one of those sides that you want when it comes to Mr. Hughes. I can't prove or disprove either of them. There's not a lot of information out there about Mr. Hughes, other than the fact that he is allegedly buried here in the Holly Fork area of Rowan County. But I am quite familiar with all of the cemeteries here in the Holly Fork area. And unless he is in an unmarked grave in one of them, there is no record of where he's buried, other than Holly Fork. Anyway, Mr. Hughes was dragged from his bed by this band of regulators. He was dragged from his bed with a rope around his neck. He was shot 2 to 3 times and left to die in his yard. Now, for this murder, for the murder of Mr. Hughes, William Garner was sentenced to life in prison. Also arrested for this crime was Mr. O'Banion Logan, whose grave is right here in front of us, and his 2 sons, along with William Cornett. According to sources, my source being Fred Brown's book, Days of Anger, Days of Tears, O'Banion and William Cornett each served 1 year, with charges being dropped on the others. I'm assuming the others were O'Banion's 2 sons. But that's the story of O'Banion Logan. He is buried right here in the Master Cemetery and was a player in the Rowan County War back in between 1884 and 1887. So there you have it, a little bit of history for you. There's also another grave. Y'all forgive me, I'm about to stand up here. There's another grave here that I want to point out to you. I know very, very little about this individual, other than what I was able to find in a newspaper article. And I did discover that during my ancestral search, he is related to me a little bit. But his grave's right here, and his name is Archie Max Thompson. Archie was a soldier during World War II, and if my memory serves me correctly, and I would have to go back and look, but I think he was killed in a car accident. But anyway, according to the Olive Hill Carter County Herald in Olive Hill, Kentucky, that was published at the time of Archie Max's death, he was listed as being a hero of World War II. Now, I don't have any more information than that as far as him being declared a hero. In my opinion, all soldiers, past, present, are heroes. But he was specifically called a hero of World War II. I would love to be able to find out more about his involvement in the war and why he was labeled a hero specifically when a lot of the other soldiers were not. Most of them were not. So, yeah, but that's the history behind Archie Max, as much as I know anyway. And so, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this segment of Looking Back, a glimpse into Kentucky's unknown history. If you enjoy this type of thing, let me know, and we'll be happy to try to do some more of this type of content. Until next time, God bless you.